Situated on the coast of the Gulf of Guinea in West Africa, Ghana is bordered to the northwest and north by Burkina Faso, to the east by Togo, to the south by the Atlantic Ocean, and to the west by Côte d'Ivoire. British occupation over what is today Ghana started with the purchase of Elmina Castle from the Dutch in 1872. Establishment of Gold Coast Colony followed in 1874, which extended inland to border the Ashanti territory. Later, the Ashanti Kingdom was subdued in 1896, becoming Ashanti Protectorate. Further, the northern territories of the Gold Coast followed in 1901, completing a single protectorate of Gold Coast. After the First World War, Germany lost Togoland colony to Britain and France. Efforts to agitate for self-rule were accelerated in 1947 through the formation of United Gold Coast Convention (UGCC) party. In 1949, Kwame Nkrumah broke away from UGCC and formed the Convention People's Party (CPP). The CPP was more inclusive as opposed to the elitist UGCC. Elections were held in 1951 in which CPP won and formed the government. The post of Prime Minister was created in 1952 with Nkrumah as the first holder. In 1956, British Togoland was given a chance to decide its future through a referendum. Having been governed under the Gold Coast since 1922, majority of the voters chose to remain in the Union. The Gold Coast was granted independence as Ghana on the 6th of March 1957. Kwame Nkrumah continued as Prime Minister with Queen Elizabeth II as head of state. A republic was proclaimed in 1960 with Nkrumah as president. Nkrumah pursued a pro-Soviet ideological model aimed at self-reliance. To achieve this, he initiated rapid industrialization and expanded education and health services. Infrastructural developments such as Akasombo Dam and the port of Tema were also achieved. CPP was made the sole political party in 1964. As a Pan-Africanist, Nkrumah was one of the founders of Organization of African Unity and supported liberation movements across Africa. He was overthrown in a military coup in 1966. Joseph Ankara took over leadership as chairman of the National Liberation Council, NLC. He accused Nkrumah's government of being authoritative and corrupt. The NLC promised a return to civilian rule without delay. A constitution for the Second Republic promulgated in 1968 allowed for multi-party politics. Elections held in 1969 were won by the Progressive Party (PP), led by Kofi Busia, a critic of Nkrumah, who became Prime Minister in 1970. Busia launched a popular move aimed at easing unemployment by expelling non-citizens. He pursued a liberalized economy and introduced a loan program for university students, which proved unpopular among the masses. The government also tried to revive the rural economy aimed at servicing foreign debt. Austerity measures introduced later led to protests, and the military took over again in 1972, led by Ignatius Acheampong. Acheampong formed the National Redemption Council, NRC, whose aim was to curb currency devaluation and improve living conditions. The NRC was reorganized into the Supreme Military Council, SMC, in 1975. By 1977, SMC started facing civil opposition. Acheampong gave in to demands and formed a mixed military-civilian leadership in 1978. The same year, Acheampong resigned and was replaced by Frederick Akufo, who continued with plans for return to civilian rule. However, in June 1979, Akufo's government was toppled and Rawlings took over. Rawlings formed the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, AFRC. The military regime went ahead to return the country to civilian rule in September 1979. Illa Liman of the People's National Party, PNP, was elected president of the Third Republic following elections held at the end of 1979. PNP leadership included people of differing political ideologies, and consensus on issues were hard to come by. Further difficult economic times that followed alienated Liman's government. Rawlings staged another coup in December 1981 and formed the Provisional National Defense Council, PNDC. It focused on increasing productivity and rooting out economic crimes. In 1992, a new constitution allowing multi-party politics was passed. Elections were held towards the end of 1992, and Rawlings contested as a civilian under the National Democratic Congress, NDC. He won resoundingly and was re-elected for a second term in 1996. John Atta Mills, his successor in NDC leadership, ran against John Kufuor of New Patriotic Party, NPP. Kufuor won, leading to a peaceful transfer of power from NDC to NPP. His presidency offered various social reforms, both in health and education. He completed his 2 terms in 2008. Elections held that year were won by NDC's Atta Mills following a runoff. Mills died in office in July 2012 and John Mahama took over. Mahama went ahead to win the 2012 election and presided over a regime marked with corruption. He contested in 2016 against Nana Akufo-Addo of NPP. The winner, Akufo-Addo, followed up on his campaign pledges. He committed to rooting out corruption and spurring economic growth. Starting off as the first Black African country to gain freedom, Ghana has endured social, political, and economic transformation, earning it its moniker the Black Star of Africa. So, there you have it, the remarkable post-independence history of Ghana, a country that has navigated the complexities of independence with resilience and vision. From Nkrumah's dream of Pan-Africanism to Rawlings' economic reforms and the current democratic governance, Ghana's journey is a testament to the spirit and strength of its people. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from Africa's post-independence history. Thank you.